of the world need to take a stand. We need to join together, unite hand in hand. We gotta make the world make it a better place. Do it for the future of the human race, because we know what is right and what to do to stop all the hurting that we're going through. If there's one thing I know it's true, it's up to you and you and you. Let's do it right. Try with all your might. Let's do it right. Change the world.
Hi, welcome to Let's Do It. I'm your host, Rosalind Rawls, and tonight our topic is about entrepreneurship. And I have just the person who's here to get you motivated. She's the founder, creator of Greater St. Louis Research Development Services, and her name is Miss Carolyn Dillworth. Carolyn, thank you so much for coming out and being with us today.
Thank you for having me.
Tell me first, how did you get off into this agency? You know, what led you to create this?
Well, in essence, there was two reasons. Having a profitable and a non-for-profit business, I saw needs in both areas. In regards to the non-for-profit arena, I would network and go to various meetings, and I would observe some of the participants in the meetings, and I noticed that there was really not much representation among smaller social service agencies and non-for-profit agencies.
Okay.
And I was somewhat concerned about a lot of the minorities not being represented at these networking meetings. And I thought to myself, why aren't they here? Why aren't they here taking advantage of some of the funds that would be available at these various resources and fundings event? And it became apparent to me that maybe they were not aware of the various funding sources. And
lack of knowledge that most I think minorities do have, and that's why a lot of minorities don't have the establishments that they could.
Right, and because I really didn't think that they did not want to participate. It was just basically they were not aware, like you said. So I did some informal surveys, and I realized that was the case. And on the profitable side, I recognized that a lot of the businesses, and I've done some research on this as well, a lot of the people who want to go into business or want business ownership were not prepared. They had no clue on how to change a dream into reality.
Okay.
So there was one stage that really was not addressed that they needed to go through in order to prepare them to be entrepreneurs.
Okay.
So that's what developed my interest in providing a service and incorporating and starting Greater St. Louis Resource Development.
Which is an interest I'm so happy that you took upon yourself, because it's something that we do really need, because a lot of us do not know the steps to take to approach, you know, ownership of your own business.
Absolutely.
And it's something that is good to point out, because to my understanding, you really give detailed information, and you hold many workshops free. You know, that the information is right out there for people who want to learn, if they just want to go out there and find out and get to your workshops, and you hold them at various places, right?
Absolutely. And normally, I try to conduct them once a month, and they are free to the public, and it's basically to educate. That's basically my goal, is to educate and to train them, teaching them how to qualify for the funds, because there's roughly, in 1995, over $144 billion were given to, or was available as grants and available to the public. But a lot of people, especially in the St. Louis area, especially the smaller social service agencies, don't really tap into that as a resource.
Oh, okay.
So
tell me, Carolyn, where does the money come from?
Most of the money...
we're just not aware of that.
Yeah. Most of the money, if you look at the statistics, most of the money comes from individuals, which is surprising. You have people who bequeath large sums of money. But I usually approach foundations and corporations, because they're basically the established funding sources. Individuals are really, they have organizations that they have already identified in advance that they want to support. So they're very specific in who they support. But if you want to get funds and there is no politics involved, you want to try the government, which is another funding source, which is not included in the $144 billion in funds.
Okay.
And then you want to try the corporations. Sometimes they get from their marketing funds.
Okay.
And then you want to try the foundations, which are normally attached to corporations.
Okay. What all is involved in your workshops, you know, the way you conduct it?
Well, I try to make sure that I talk about each individual dreams. I think businesses start off as a dream, and I want everybody to feel that their businesses are just as valid as any other businesses, so I allow them to talk about their businesses, and this gives me clue on how to handle the workshop, how to conduct the workshop, what material to present at the workshop. And once they share their dreams with me, then I try to provide them with facts. I tell them about statistics in small businesses.
Okay.
I tell them about the pitfalls of small businesses. I talk about the advantages of having being a business owner. And then once we've talked about the statistics, then we talk about the funding sources. And I just give them a little background information on the funding sources. I usually talk about grants, loans, government contracts, and certification programs. And then once I give them some background information and establish a common ground, then I conduct a self-evaluation.
Okay.
And this is basically for the individual or the business owner to look at themselves and decide whether or not they're qualified, because that's the gist of my workshop. Are you positioned? Are you qualified?
So are they doing a self-evaluation to determine if they're qualified to start their own business?
Right, but see, I am not evaluating them, they're evaluating themselves.
Okay.
And I actually have a form that they fill out, and I tell them these are the 4 funding sources. Which one are you interested in? And they'll tell me which ones they're interested in. I said, now tell me, I have a list of support documents that are required. I said, how many of these things do you have? And they go through the list, and oftentimes they don't have all the things they need, but they need to see this for themselves. And once they've completed the form, then I pull out the answer and I tell them what is actually needed to get those funds.
Okay.
And oftentimes they realize for themselves, I'm not ready. And I said, great. I said, you're in the right place because I'm here to make you ready.
Okay, now, so they say that they're not ready. Is that saying that they're not ready at that particular time? But they can, once they get preparation together, then they can start off to their own business?
Absolutely. That's my whole purpose.
Okay, it's not to say, though, that they're not ready, that they cannot have their own business.
Not at all.
It's just at that time they're not ready.
See, I don't want to go in pointing a finger saying you're not ready. I want them to come to that realization themselves.
Okay.
So that's why I allow for the self-evaluation. And then once I show them what they need to do, I get the impression they're more motivated.
You're helping to get them ready.
Absolutely. And then I spend the balance of the workshop talking about what resources are available, how they can get from A to B.
Okay. From this self-evaluation, Carolyn, what is approximately the percentage of people who aren't ready that you've noticed?
I would say 90 to 95% of the people are not ready.
Okay.
And it gets back to why I didn't see many at these networking meetings, because they knew for themselves they weren't ready. Besides not even knowing or being aware of some of the funding sources, they just knew that there were some things they needed to do to qualify.
Tell me some key things that we need to know, like right off the bat, to qualify for entrepreneurship.
Well, anyone that's pursuing their own business, I suggest that they do several things. One, I suggest that they do some surveys, do a market research. When I conduct my workshop, as a business owner, I'm learning. I'm learning whether there's a need for my service. So I would encourage to do informal workshops, surveys, trying to learn more about the industry, learning more about your competition, learning more about what the needs are, because we want to be consistent, or we want to pursue the marketing concepts of meeting the needs of the people, not creating a product or service and then forcing it down the public's throat. We want to make sure that we provide the public with what they need. So we want to make sure that you understand your market.
Okay.
So I encourage people to do the market research and conduct the surveys. Then I ask them to evaluate their weakness, their strengths. Do you have the skills necessary to provide this service or to produce this product? According to the Small Business Administration, a lot of the small businesses fail because they don't have the management skills. So I ask them to assess their own skills and to determine where they need help, what needs they have, and then take steps to meet those needs or to find help.
Okay.
I encourage them to network. I encourage them to recruit. And I think this is very important, especially in regards to not-for-profits, because with not-for-profits, you are required to have a board of director. And it's an excellent opportunity when you're selecting your board of director to get people who can help you address those areas where you may not be as strong.
Okay.
You know, if you're not strong legally, or if you're not strong in the accounting, get some people on your boards that have the accounting background that you need, or the legal expertise that you need.
That's true.
But most importantly, you want to make sure that whatever skills that you need to provide a quality service or produce a quality product, you have the professionalism to provide it.
Okay. We're going to take a quick break, Carolyn, and we're going to come back with some more of that information we're going to discuss, okay?
All right.
We'll be right back with Carolyn Dillworth, and she's the founder-creator of Greater St. Louis Research Development Services. Stay with us. We have more information for you.